and I'm feeling it pressed down on my head, I'm feeling it pressed down on my shoulders, and I'm just hoping to get to the other side. And there's people behind me and people in front of me shuffling through this little tunnel. Okay, my friends, here it is, the next installment in the saga. So let us recap. I spent my first year in Asia, and then I came home, and then I got really depressed and felt like an alien, and then I got a email from my island lover who said, hey, let's do the island thing again, so why don't you come back? I said, yes, okay, but first we planned a month with my stepdad Pete of touring Southeast Asia. And so we have just completed the killing fields of Cambodia, and we are on our way to Saigon.
What do we get on this bus?
Huh?
What do we get on this bus?
Oh, we get free entertainment. It's entertainment included. Yes, and it's the refrigerated bus as well, meant for meat, cattle. But guys, remember, this is a totally different kind of traveling than I was used to up to that point. What we're doing here is more like what we could say tourist traveling, where you have like an agenda and you have to take buses and you have to get there, you have like a timetable and stuff. What I was used to doing was really open-ended with no plan. So this is really fast-paced. So you're gonna see it's gonna be kind of fast-paced. And it is on this long bus ride that I really begin to comprehend the scale of the human endeavor. So we're driving for hours and hours, 12 hours, and miles, and everything around us used to be nothing but rich, luscious rainforests of Cambodia and Vietnam. But now it has all been wiped out to make way for agricultural crops, rice paddies. And to give you a sort of glimpse of the style of Southeast Asian traveling, the driver has to get out. Every time that we stop, the driver gets out and he kind of shakes the tires. He kind of pushes them a little bit, hits them, makes sure that they're still tight. So we begin to approach Saigon, and we see, as we look out the window, these floating villages, whole villages of people living on like rafts in the marshes. And the bikes, guys, I know I say this a lot, but it defies comprehension, the amount of bikes that there are, especially as you approach Saigon. Everyone's driving a bike and there's so many people. Once we arrive to Saigon, look at some of these clips. We're just walking along, finding the guest house, and we're just taking a little footage of these clips. Look. So we spent some time walking around Saigon, which is now known as Ho Chi Minh City. And when you see made in Vietnam, this is what they're talking about. Pretty much made by hand in these shops. These markets have anything you can imagine, tons of stuff. Look at this meat market. Very different than the way it's done in America. Of course, boatloads of textiles. Look at this. Born to make you best style guy. Okay, so we're doing fast-paced tourist type traveling. So then we get on a bus and we go to this place called the Cu Chi Tunnels. And it's pretty mind-blowing. So we take a tour of the Cu Chi Tunnels, and it is at this place that I begin to realize the difference between the home field advantage in war and being the away team in the war. When your home is invaded, you will do absolutely anything to defend it. And it was in these tunnels that I really began to get this feeling. You could see as we walked through the tunnels, all these homemade traps and all these tunnels that were designed for the North Vietnamese to scurry around and run underneath the ground, pop up and pop, 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 fire, pop back down, pop, 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 fire, run back down. This is also where I begin to get the sensation that the way that we were led to believe that Vietnam ended or happened in America is not necessarily the way that it happened or the way that they view it. In Vietnam, it's called the American War, and we are seen as the invaders and the evil force that was trying to destroy the country. And so our tour guide around the Cu Chi tunnels is noticeably proud of the ingenuity of his people and what they did to the evil Americans. So he takes us around looking at these terrifying booby traps that were made. And he calls this one the souvenir trap because once your leg falls through it, you have to go home with it. Ha 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 ha. And I'm sitting there as a military looking American. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. Okay, moving on. So guys, when your homeland is invaded, you will do whatever it takes. And so these people became very clever, what they did with very little supplies. And so there was lots of unexploded ordnances, all right? Bombs that were dropped that didn't go off, booby traps, cluster bombs that didn't explode. And so they would take these and they would take them apart. Imagine that. You're one of the people taking them apart. And then they'd make new explosive booby traps out of them and put them all over the place. Look guys, I'm going to put in a link in the description to the Wikipedia account of the Cu Chi tunnels, and it will describe to you the tiny, cramped little space that it is. And we got to go down in these. When you're there, you can just feel it. And it blew my mind that human beings are capable of this. And that they go down into these little tunnels. And so we were allowed to go down into them. And so I got down in there and oh my God. And it's tight on both sides. You kind of shimmying in this tunnel. And the guy's like, yeah, this one has been widened for the Western tourists. I thought, what? And I'm feeling it pressed down on my head. I'm feeling it pressed down on my shoulders. And I'm just hoping to get to the other side. And there's people behind me and people in front of me shuffling through this little tunnel. Oh no. I started to get that feeling that I did when I was stuck in the cave. Remember that video? Now look here. I can't even physically fit down into the little tunnel hole.
For you. Especially you.
Not me.
Not you.
No way. Okay.
Đây kommer vi inte det.
Okay, I look. You want to get down? For looking, you can do like he did. Just some only. A few only, not many. Go to. Okay.
It's not even possible for me to get under there.
Okay, who else? Lady. Some lady?
So guys, read the Wikipedia account below. and they have what they called the tunnel rats. The American force had the tunnel rats, the people that had to go into these holes and seek out and see what was down there. Could you imagine the balls of steel that this would take? And these people volunteered, these American military men volunteered for that position. And they would go down there with a flashlight and a handgun and a knife and just see what they find. There was booby traps all over the place. I just couldn't even fathom it. Especially after seeing how sickening and cruel these booby traps were that were made, pits that you would fall into, and they were designed, listen to the tour guy explain, they were designed not to kill, just to maim, because they wanted the people to scream out loud so that the others would come to help, and that would make an easy target. Pop, 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 pop.
Here, they couldn't get up by themselves. And also they didn't die immediately, so they were so scared. That's why they had to cry so loudly and so much for happy. Their friend had to come around here, like we do now. So during wartime, it's deep depth on this, it could be a good target, target, or the communist soldiers kill the enemy around here. It's so terrible, huh? Okay, follow me.
Look, then we got to have a little snack of tapioca root, and some of these guys would be down there for days at a time without seeing the daylight, and there was all kinds of scorpions and fire ants and snakes and all kinds of stuff down there in these dark little tunnels like that, and they'd be eating this tapioca root. But man, you will do anything when you're being invaded. We were the invaders. You will do anything to survive. So essentially what we took away from the place was that the Americans were the invaders. This is called the American War, and we were not wanted there. And the North Vietnamese actually won the war. We lost the war. And when we were leaving the tunnels, you realize that there was hundreds of miles of these tunnels all over the place. And despite our best efforts, even dropping bombs from B-52s, 30-ton bombs from B-52 bombers, we still couldn't destroy the tunnels. The ingenuity of these people. And they could go all over. They had dead ends and they had places they could pop up, and then disappear like that. And you could not even see the entrance to these tunnels, guys. It's mind-blowing.
Easy for him, but not easy for you. Especially you.
Not me. Yeah.
So guys, all these years ago in Vietnam, that was really my first time that I really began to feel and realize, meaning it became a reality for me, that what we are told about history and all of this is totally malleable. It is written by the victors, but also it is written by the people that write the history books, if you know what I mean. And so when you're touring these places, they have war memorials to the American war, to the American invasion, and you see how, you can just see and experience how things are done, told totally differently. For example, let me read this to you. Okay, we are here at this memorial and we see this plaque, all right? And this is what the plaque reads. From 8 to 9 p.m., February 25th, 1969, a group of Navy SEALs, led by Lieutenant Bob Carey, reached Hamlet 5, in Suchum province. They cut 66-year-old man and 62-year-old woman's necks and pulled their 3 grandchildren out from their hiding place in a drain pipe and killed 2 and disemboweled 1. Then, those rangers moved to dugouts of other families, shot dead 15 civilians, including 3 pregnant women, disemboweled a young girl. The only survivor was a 12-year-old girl named, then it gives her name, who suffered a foot injury. It was not until April of 2001 that U.S. Senator Bob Carey confessed his crime to the international public. Guys, this, and then it goes on to show the picture of Bob Carey, and he became a senator, and he was given a Medal of Honor. So read the Wikipedia account of what happened, and it just extols the many virtues of his heroic acts in war. Guys, nothing is what it seems. Nothing is what we're led to believe. And when you start traveling the world and you start seeing these things, you start connecting dots and stuff starts connecting in your mind, and you start seeing, wait a second, that's not what I was led to believe my whole life. We were led to believe that, well, we had to stop the communists. Well, we got to get them. They're communists. We got to stop the spread. We got to be there so we can spread freedom. We got to spread freedom. Yeah, that's what it's about, right? No. We didn't win. America lost that war, and the North Vietnamese renamed Saigon Ho Chi Minh City. And now it is a communist country. And yet, communism is the thing that we read about, and of course there's some horrible things, I'm sure, but just going off of my personal experience in a communist country, I didn't feel anything negative. It felt like a wonderful place. Everybody was very friendly. That surprised us. Everyone was very friendly. We are in a communist country, and yet everything is flourishing. Everything looks wonderful. The people are friendly and happy. And so it's all just kind of my whole worldview is just starting to disintegrate. And this happens when you do this kind of traveling. What you think the world is dissolving.